Okay, I think we're live. Sorry for the delay, everybody. We had some technical issues, of course, with streaming, always happens. So yeah, so super excited to be here. My camera's not working. It was a little bit delayed, so we turned off my camera just to make sure my audio is good. So that's why I'm off camera. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm Bobby Lee, and I'm really excited. This is my first Dev Fireside Hang hosting it. And this is also our first time doing it on Restream. So just bear with us if anything comes up. We're all a little bit new to the platform, but everything seems to be going well so far. So we'll be watching the chat in the right. If you have questions, ask them throughout, and we'll answer them after each presenter chats and mentions, the things that they're up to. So yeah, on stage with me today, we have tech writer Nico, and he's here to talk about new releases and all things happening in the docs. And then we have Stev, DevRel engineer here, who's showcasing our new community board and technical support forums. So just demoing some of these things for you guys. So we're really excited. So thanks for joining, and I'm just going to hand it off to Nico, and he can just kick it off.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobby Lee. Hi, everybody. This is my first time joining the Fireside Hang, and I'm Nico. I'm a technical author for Midnight, and for the past, I would say, half a year, I've been looking after the docs together with my colleague Joan. We are currently working on loads of improvements, and we wanted to take the opportunity today to share with you guys what we did in the past few months, what's on the roadmap, to hopefully get you all excited about the docs, because it's something that probably is sometimes being done in the background, but we're trying to introduce loads and loads of things to it to make it basically valuable for everybody in the ecosystem. So I'm going to share a presentation with you that we prepared for this so view slideshow. Awesome. Right. So let me kick it off with a bit of with an overview of what we achieved in the past, I would say, a few months, like the most recent initiatives here. So as you have noticed, for the past, I think 2 months already, we have an AI search enablement, which we integrated in collaboration with Kappa AI, who are, as some of you might know them, but they are specializing in documentation bots, LLMs for big players out there, such as OpenAI themselves, Docker, Sentry, and so on. So we did research into LLMs. We looked at possibilities to create our own chatbot or go with vendors, and Kappa proved to be very reliable during our internal testing. It is, I would say, it is very good, very reliable in terms of general information. Well, anything theoretical, step-by-steps. What we're currently working on together with Kappa is refining it in such a way that it is capable of writing compact smart contracts. Now, currently, it may be a little bit, well, not, I would say, not 100% reliable, because there is still some interference from TypeScript. But currently, we are working with their engineers to make sure that in the next iteration, and we're going to announce it, of course, that you guys will be able to outsource smart contract work in compact to Kappa as well. Another piece of content that we have, and you guys have seen probably, is the Midnight Developer Academy. So we started from basics of the basics, basically, for somebody who may not be familiar with Web3 altogether. And the course takes you all the way to running example dApps, some development on Midnight and what it all entails. Each module contains quizzes, and we implemented a GitHub plugin, so people log in with their GitHub handle, and in that way we will at the end of the academy, this is the last milestone that we want to introduce, we will be able to grant certificates or NFT certificates based on the successful course completion. So it is, let's say, like 90% ready. So the most exciting, the last capstone project, as we call it, is on its way. So what else have we got? In progress is a restructure of documentation. Now we have, currently, the documentation portal is a collection of artifacts created over the years by various stakeholders. Some of the pages are very technical, some of the pages are more theoretical, more like high level. But we appreciate that it is, even with Kappa plugged in now, it is still very difficult to find the right information, especially depending on a user's persona. For example, an SPO doesn't need to dive all the way into compact low-level logic, and vice versa. Somebody who is interested in compact grammar wants to find it as easy as possible. So I'm going to show you in today's demo as well what we have in mind. And another initiative is open sourcing the docs repository that we're just having some last security checks before making it all open source, which means that any one of you will be more than welcome to contribute to the docs, to raise issues, to pretty much ask questions directly on the source, and it will be very helpful for us to kind of be more responsive to community feedback in that way. So, and having said that, so what we just a general philosophy is that it's docs in our case is not an afterthought, because it's a very rapidly growing ecosystem. So we are designing experience, and our goal, of course, is to make sure that development on Midnight is as easy as possible, that we can onboard as many of you as possible and help you in your projects, in whatever you guys are building. So let's talk a little bit about the restructure. So what we said is, what does it exactly mean? So we identified a few key personas, and by personas we mean a reader, avatar. So in that way, for example, validator, what docs would validator need, or dApp developer, what docs will they need, and so on. Based on that, we actually are rewriting pretty much every page in our documentation portal, and there's loads of them because, as I mentioned previously, it's an ongoing project, so to speak. So we've got hundreds of different pages which need actualization, which need adaptation to make it not only technically correct, because that's something that we, as part of our day-to-day job, are making sure that it is technically correct, but it's more the accessibility, the findability of information. And then, of course, whilst doing so, we identify gaps. We see where we're lacking, what kind of docs we need. So, for example, currently we have a whole bunch of documentation scheduled for release on shielded and unshielded tokens. So we've got improvements in mind for API documentation, as well as tutorials. So we currently have 2 example dApps with the open source repositories, but obviously there's much more that we could help you guys with there, in terms of any tutorials on local development, deployment, testing, and so on. And I would say, yeah, so this is kind of a recap of what I just mentioned in terms of the most actual goals. Apart from what I covered already, we also are looking at creating better feedback channels, which will be aligned with open sourcing the repository. So currently, obviously, we have this feedback widget, but it's only it's quite limited. So when the repository is open sourced, you could docs repository, but also we're looking at adding plugins to streamline it in such a way in the back office that we have we have a full circle journey by receiving your feedback, amending the docs as required, and then we'll be able to feed it back to the person who raised that feedback item, that the issue has been addressed, and ask for their satisfaction in that regard. Analytics, that's our future goals, because we would like to keep improving not only the user experience, but also the quality of information, the amount of information, maybe the way it's written, maybe there will be some new ideas. So for example, you could see that some time ago, we started our Dev Diaries as part of the documentation portal, which is a very hands-on technical blog. We have Midnight Academy. Maybe there will be something else that could help you get more value out of documentation. And to show a little bit of kind of a sneak peek into the future, here is a preview of what we are doing on the documentation portal. As you can see, it's just a PR preview. It's not published yet. But basically, we have a path that would that's basically divided into readers' familiarity with blockchain, for example, or their role in it. And then we have shortcuts that would take you directly to the required resource. So if you're totally new, we start with the Academy, and then you would look at Midnight itself, what it is, maybe do a quick start guide, and have a look at the real world use cases. And also we have tooltips as well. So for example, if there's anything that we think, oh, you know what, instead of linking it to like a glossary here, just a very simple tooltip. And yeah, that would basically improve the journey. Now, this is by no means final. Obviously, this is just a preview PR, and that would affect the whole navigation. So instead of looking for example, compact language, currently it is hidden under reference docs. You need to go to like develop, and then you go under reference. Now you have compact language just right here, and have language reference and tools and everything that you need. And then with the right feedback, we could keep refining it, because obviously the best user experience is all feedback based, of course, because we can start from somewhere and then we keep refining. So that is all for my presentation. I would stop sharing, and I would like to have a look at any questions that you guys have.
That was awesome, by the way. I'm excited for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing all the information. We do have one question, but I think like the team overall could answer it, maybe not just Leo, but yeah.
Their file like compact language is compact, or is this part of made open source? Syntax highlighting. I'm not sure about this. Steph, do you know if
you're looking for compact highlighting, there is a VS Code extension, which is, I believe, in the docs releases, if I'm not mistaken. Right now you have to download the explicit VS Code extension file. That's just where you have to go for now. But if you need code highlighting in your editor, that's a place to go. I think it also has snippets as well. So if anyone doesn't know about the VS Code extension, if you go to the docs in our releases, you'll find VS Code extension. We are working to get that on the official VS Code marketplace as well.
Yes, and then just to add to that, if you cannot find what you're looking for in the VS Code extension, please feel free to raise this as a feedback, and we will attend to it.
Yeah, I'll try to find that while you're talking, Stev, and link it in here. So be right back doing that. But if you want to get started, Stev, with your presentation, or just, not slides or anything, I don't think you have, but sharing the community board and then our forums, sharing screen for that.
Yeah, happy to. I'm intentionally dog feeding other things too. So, oh my gosh, this isn't the community board, but feel free to take a screenshot. But here goes another one. All right, cool. So hello everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking time to join us in our Fireside Hang on Wednesday. And just a reminder, if you want to have questions answered live, just answered in the stream comments, so we'll be happy to answer. However, we want to show this diagram here, and I'm also going to I'm sharing screen with the diagram, and then I'm going to show you guys how the prototype in GitHub currently. But in DevRel, we do a few things. We do a lot of things. We're working on content, example applications, sometimes even just feature demonstrations, and sometimes we do demos and talks as well. We want to and the thing is, the community are also involved in that stuff. There's people who've done presentations in Japan, people who went to meetups, I know one in Minnesota, and there's a lot of Midnight community advocates out there. So kind of like want to merge this workflow where we could work more in an open source manner and also engage the community on a lot of the stuff we're working on, and also open up certain things and open up this workflow to the community, where if there's something that they really want to do and we can champion their success, then we can all collaborate together and just driving value for the Midnight community. So here's a little workflow diagram that I have here. I'm going to just zoom in here, but it's almost like, so let's say there's someone, let's say this is Janice, for example. Now in a project board, let's say you're going to raise an issue, and sorry if you guys hear background noise, but let's say you raise an issue, like, hey, I want to raise an issue. So I'm going to create an issue based on the type. That can be a content proposal, DApp proposal, suggestions, feedbacks, demos, and talks. This would be kind of like an idea or concept, like, hey, I want to create this content, or, and you don't have to be the owner of the issue, but if you're someone in the community and you're like, hey, I love a DApp example on a DEX, for example, like, yeah, I'd love to see this. You can create that. You don't have to own it, but create it and it goes on a board. Now, maybe you don't want to create an issue. Maybe you want to ask more. Maybe you want to discuss it a little bit more. So you can also ask on the forum, which I will show in a little bit. But we do have a forum now for Midnight, and I'll show that shortly. But anyways, you want to raise an issue. You're going to create an issue by a type. That could be content proposal, example, DApp proposal, suggestions, feedbacks, demos, and talks. And that will live on a community board. This issue would be there. It'll be categorized by the type, and this will be a GitHub issue. If you don't know what those look like, I'll show those in a short minute. So now it goes on the community board. All right. So we're on the community board. That issue's there. So we'd like to openly triage things that we're going to be so you're going to have a lot of issues. Some issues might be, there might be duplicates. In that case, maybe they get rejected, or some issues are like, wow, that's actually a great issue. We should put that in a place where it's going to be executed at some point. So that becomes triage. And we can and as part of working with the community, we'd love to have a committee of people, including people from Midnight Foundation, people within the community who love to participate in this process. But hey, what are some issues that should be triaged? Like, hey, this demo is great, or there's no this example hasn't been done before, or hey, this issue is actually we can help decide that together in a collaborative manner. So let's say an issue gets triaged. Okay. Yes, that gets triaged. So then we have some automation where we decide to triage it, and then you GitHub action something into a grab and go board. Now it's called the grab and go board because you can take these issues which have been triaged and go with them. So as part of DevRel, we can take popular and we could take issues and start executing on them. And we could also have ambassadors and other people in the community who want to work on issues as well, or even work together on certain issues and go and execute those things. For example, we're working with people with in Argentina on some stuff for when we appear in Buenos Aires. So theoretically, we can have this board and we can collaborate on issues, have people open with the community or the LATAM community and come in and work on issues and the scope of work for things to, just maximize the value and input into a specific scope of work. So, so you have your issues in the grab and go board, and we'd like to have some type of way of voting. There's a few ways we can go about it. We'd have to experiment, but one of the easiest ways is just emoji reaction. And then we'd be able to prioritize what's popular in the community and pick things from the grab and go board based on community sentiment. For example, like, hey, no one actually cares about this issue. This has one vote. Or this issue actually has 50 votes. Ideally, we should be prioritizing what the community desires more. So that's the grab and go board. Now within this committee, we can do things to assign it, but it'll be public. So theoretically, if you want to take on an issue, all you have to say is like, hey, I'd love to do that. And it's like, okay, well, you can be assigned the issue. You'll be part of that work, this working group, and we can champion everyone's success. And that's basically the community board. And yeah, it's a very, I feel like this is it's a pretty cool concept because we get to work in a more open source manner and collaborate with the community. Because I get DMs all the time like, hey, when's the next workshop? I want this and that in the workshop. So when I do have another Midnight Block Producer workshop, I'm going to create it in this community board, and then everyone will be able to get their inputs on what you want. Because some people are like, hey, I don't want to actually set up my own SPO. It's like, okay, well, it'll be cool if we had this issue. You could come in there and basically give your inputs and create the scope of how we would execute that workshop as maximum benefit to you and the community. So I think it'd be a really cool thing. Now, I'm going to share my other screen. Let me see if I can share my other window. And we can also look at this more in GitHub. Let me see, Chrome tab. Okay. All right. Now, do you see a GitHub thing? Okay, yes, you do. All right. So this is something that this can look like. Now, some of these issues are just prototypes just because we've been prototyping. But let's say we have this community hub repository. And we can have issue templates, and there can be automation throughout this step. Now in specific repos, because there's a lot of things can be open sourced, and those are going to have their own issues and bug reports. But this community hub is really going back. It includes a lot more things like content proposals, DApp proposals, and general features and suggestions, which might not live directly on a repo or specific source code. So so you'd be able to like say, create a content proposal. I'm just going to say hello world, or let's say blah, 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 blah. All right. And we'd create that issue. And I'm going to put some automation here, but this would basically go on a community board, right? So that would go on a community board. And then I think I need to share my other window for the community board. So let me do that. So you have your issue and you're able to, collaborate on the issue like how you would in GitHub anyways. And let me now share the other one. So now you have a community board, okay? Now this will go on the community board, and then in our triage sessions, or basically open working sessions, that with the community, whether you want to be an ambassador or just a contributor, we'll be able to triage certain issues if you'd like to participate. And in this triage, you can think about like, hey, this issue actually needs a little bit more discussion, or hey, this issue is duplicated. So let's say maybe it's rejected. Okay, and we just created this issue, blah, 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 okay? So now, let's say like, oh yeah, this issue is totally awesome, and this work should be taken on, for example, or it's not been done before, let's put it in the triage. So let's say you triage it, and then I have a GitHub action, which isn't fully working yet because this is a prototype. But you'd have some automation that would simply put this on our grab and go board. So let me show you the grab and go board. So now we have a grab and go board, and this would be like a typical Kanban work board. So we have all these issues, and in the to-do section, the community will be able to vote on some things, and I'll have to eventually add some automation to curate these votes, because it'll be easier if we can automate the sentiment instead of going into each issue and seeing what's most popular or not. But the community will be able to vote on things. For example, if there's a demo that you're like, I think that's hey, I want to see a multi-sig signature contract and compact more than the example decks, for example. Well, go express that and go vote on that issue. And then when it becomes triage, we're able to, you're able to establish a hierarchy on the most important issues based on community sentiment. And then we could, grab the issue and go with it. And that's kind of
just a little bit. I'm sure people can see it and get the idea. It's like a Trello board, but
I'll zoom in.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So and that's basically the idea of the community board. We want to do what we do in a more open source collaborative manner with the community, and also we want to involve the community as well. So I'm pretty excited about this because a lot of people message me like, hey, I'd like to do X, Y, Z, or could we do it gives a great way because a lot of developers were all on GitHub anyways. And if we're working on something, instead of telling you, hey, yeah, it's going to be published, it's like, no, here's the issue. Come tell me, come contribute to it. What do you want to see? What kind of format do you want? And you literally are involved in the entire workflow of a lot of the outputs that would come out of this. And we're showing this now because we want to know from the community, like, what do you think about this? If you're watching in the stream right now, comment like, hey, I really like this idea, or I really don't like this idea, or hey, I'd actually love to contribute X, Y, Z. That's really why we're showing this now. We want to try to gauge if you guys would love to see this, realized. And the next thing I'm going to show you, let me change my window, is the forum. I think it's this one. All right, is the forum visible? Let's see. All right, looks like it's live. So there's other thing called forum.midnight.network. Okay, forum.midnight.network. So we now have a forum for the Midnight Network. So you can come in here and ask questions. For example, if you have ideas that you're not sure about, as in the community board, just go in the forum, ask for feedback, or maybe you have maybe you're working on something you want to have a more organized discussion. The forum is a great place. So I encourage all developers, if you really want answers back, and if you really want to have a conversation that's not going to get lost in Discord, please go to forum.midnight.network and start posting questions there. Especially since recent announcements with Midnight, so many people are excited. So the Discord has a lot of noise right now. So I'd say if you have a technical question or question that that you definitely want to answer on, go to forum.midnight.network, and we're personally going to be totally dedicated to prioritizing questions within the forum. And it's better to, and when we have like high value conversations and stuff, it's great to have them in the forum, because I guess they're easier to reference because it's really hard to find things back in Discord, especially if it's a discussion like, wow, that was helpful, etc. It's just easier for that stuff to live on the forum. So I definitely want to tell everyone, go to forum.midnight.network and post your developer questions in there, and feel free to contribute to the conversations. And that's kind of it.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's pretty much that what we wanted to show everybody today. If anyone has any questions, we'll watch the chat here for the next.
I would also like to, I saw there's a question from William about the restructure. So just to answer to that, we have some UX UI capacity reserved for this project for beginning of August. So realistically, I would say like mid-end August, the new designs, the new restructure should be up.
Okay, yeah.
And thank you very much for the kind words.
Yes. Okay, cool. Not seeing any other questions right now. But yeah, overall, thank you so much for coming on today, you guys, Nico and Stev. And that's kind of the main things we wanted to go over. We're really excited about all the things that are coming out and things we mentioned, a couple of weeks ago, like the ambassador program. All these things we're developing right now. Yeah, a lot of different things for you guys. So we're really, really excited. Thanks for your patience on things that we're developing. And thanks for coming today, to joining us again, another Wednesday Fireside Hang. And yeah, head to the forums for a lot of your technical questions so we can start building that up and be the main place for technical questions to be asked and answered. Of course, Discord for the community chats and everything related to the token, anything else related to Midnight Network. Yeah, that's pretty much the main things I wanted to say and go over and highlight. If you guys have anything, Nico or Stev.
Nothing really. I would say thank you very much, guys, for your attention. And as I mentioned, if there's any feedback on the docs, feel free to share it with us through any feedback channels that you can see currently.
Yeah, and anything related to the hackathon, I know we didn't mention it in this call, but any of the latest dates on those things, I'm not totally aware of all the dates with things going on. Stev might know, or Nico might know, but. I don't know if I'll put a caption in there either for her to highlight it, the links to everything, but
yeah. That link that you see on the screen right now, go there for hackathon information.
Yeah.
And all I gotta say is go to newsforum.midnight.network. It'll be a lot more helpful than Discord. We're going to be dedicated in that forum, because there's a lot of noise in Discord right now. I don't know if that's going to decrease, but people are very excited about Midnight. So if you're trying to have a more controlled, threaded conversation, go to forum.midnight.network, and I'll see you guys at Rare Evo.
Yeah, Rare Evo. Our team is headed there soon, next week. So there's a hackathon going on there as well. And then we'll be having our quests, so people can play quests while we're at the hackathon. So we're testing all that out. Yeah, so that's kind of, and then look forward to the new Academy stuff coming out soon from Nico. So yeah, thanks again, everybody. Yeah,
Thank you.
Link there for the Academy. Yeah. Great. That's it. Thanks, you guys. Have a great evening or morning or wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you in a couple weeks on the next Fireside Chat.